SQL Server 2012 PowerView is a very rich visualization and data exploration tool that you can use to analyze and interact with data in a very rich visual way just using a web browser. The scenario I'm going to walk through is me taking on the role of a car sales manager. I work for a company who sells different types of cars. We've been working selling these cars for a number of years, and I've got a set of information about them. If I swap over to PowerView, you'll see the actual design surface that I can start to use to build up some of these data visualizations. So what I've got is a model that's already been created, and you can see some information that I've got on the right hand side. So if I'm interested in the cars that we sell, I can just select cars and it will populate the data onto the design surface automatically. And this shows me the different types of cars that we sell. I've got some images and some information about the efficiency of the car and how much we sell them for. I'm going to actually visualize this in a slightly different way. Use this sort of index card view. I think it's nice for this sort of summary product information. What I'm going to do as well is drop some analytic information on. In this case, I'm going to look at our sales amount across the different types of car that we sell. And it makes sense to look at this in a column chart so I can compare the different types of car. So I can see we've mostly sold hybrids than SUVs, and in fact I can sort this in different ways, sort and filter as you'd expect. Let's drop some trend information on as well. If I was to look at our sales amount across different time periods as a line chart, you'll see in just a few clicks I've built a very rich presentation style dashboard that I can start to interact with and explore the data. The other thing you'll notice is every time I've clicked on something, I've been working with the live data. It's not been a preview, it hasn't been a placeholder. I've got all of the information here just at my fingertips. So I can say, okay, let's just look at our SUV sales, and we can see there's been a fairly steady decline apart from this weird peak that we had at the start of 2009. Compare that with our hybrid sales, and they've been sort of increasing, but we've had this funny trough over the last couple of years with a bit of an uptick more recently. Now, that's an interesting sort of comparison. SUV sales have peaked, hybrids have gone down, and they've been sort of swapping and changing. And the question is, I wonder why that might have happened. Now, one of the other things that I can do with PowerView is combining information that's come from inside and outside my organisation. So here I've just been looking at data that's arrived from our data warehouse, but if I was to create a new view, and maybe let's take that trend chart that I've already created, copy that, and put that onto our new view. And I'm actually going to add some more information onto this and then bring in some data about fuel prices. So I can look at, okay, how have our internal sales compared to fuel prices for these cars. So let's add our cumulative sales on. Actually, first thing I want to do is change this into a scatter graph so I can add some more metrics. So let's take our cumulative sales, look at that. I'm also going to use the margin to be represented as the size of the blob. So the larger the blob, the higher the margin. And let's look at that across those different types of car again. So I can see, here we were, hybrids have been selling the most, compacts the least. What I can also do is actually animate this over time as well. So I get this sort of a play axis that allows me to roll back and look at how those sales of those different types of cars have changed over time. Now I said I was going to compare this with some external data. I'm going to do that with our average gas prices. And again, I want to see this over time. And let's visualize this one as a line chart. So if I drag this out as well, line the two things up, I can see that fuel prices generally have been increasing, and then there was a big dip at the start of 2009, and then they're on the up again now. So let's actually compare these two and how that gas prices had an impact on our sales. So starting out at the start of 2006, we had a sort of slowly increasing fuel costs, and you can see where they were fairly low, SUVs were selling quite well. But it wasn't until the fuel prices really started rising that hybrid cars became more and more prevalent. Obviously, hybrid engines use less fuel, so more people are buying them. And there, right at the peak, you can see, hybrids were selling far more than SUVs. In fact, we were making higher margin on them as well. A couple of quarters later, though, fuel prices took a tumble, and at this point everybody thought, okay, fuel prices are low, I can buy SUVs again. We can see there's a direct correlation between the fuel prices there and the type of car that people are buying. And again, more recently, as these prices have started increasing again, hybrids and SUVs were about level, but the last couple of quarters we can see there's an uptick right at the end, and hybrids have overtaken, and they've been the most successful type of car in the last couple of quarters. So that animated view gives us a really great way of seeing and understanding what have been the trends and what's the story behind this data. What's actually been happening to drive the difference in sales of these different types of car. Now, typically, I might want to go and say and share this information, this bit of insight, with other people in the organisation, and actually allow them to carry on doing their own analysis on here as well. How would I do that? Well, I've got two options. I can save it to a SharePoint site so everybody can go and find it on our intranet, or I might even drop it into a PowerPoint presentation so that I can go and present it to them face to face. So I'll do that now. Firstly, let's just save it into a SharePoint folder. This is our car sales and gas prices. And now that will get picked up by SharePoint, everybody can search for it. It will just be some more BI being added into our collaboration platform. But I might also export this out to PowerPoint as well. And if I was to take this and say, let's just call this demo for the moment, this will actually export those two pieces of visualization with the information behind it into our PowerPoint presentation. If I open that up now, here you can see I've got exactly the same visualization experience as I had before, but this time it's running inside PowerPoint. And I can even interact with this data. If I'm halfway through the presentation and somebody asks me, can you just show me that for a certain type of car? I can just click one or the other, swap between the two, carry on working with that data here right in the presentation. So I've tried to show you a few of the different ways that PowerView can help interact with data, uncover the story and the actual information behind that, behind those visualizations, and how you can share it out and publish it for the rest of the organization to find as well.